Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Sam. I'm a professional hairstylist, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you all of my Instagram secrets, how I get all of the content on my Instagram page, how I come up with the ideas for things, and how I actually execute them. These are all of my content creation secrets. Unfortunately, nowadays, it's not just enough to be a good hairdresser and know how to do hair. You also need to know how to work social media, how to take good photos, how to take video, how to edit. You need to be a lot more tech savvy these days as a hairstylist. So there's a few main types of content that I like to post on my Instagram page. Obviously the hair content, so after photos of hair while it's in the middle of processing. Educational posts, sometimes that's actually a photo of something, or I'll just post like a quote and then include some type of educational caption. Photos of me, usually they're photos of me in the salon actually working, and then videos. Usually it's some type of video tutorial. So the vibe that I like to give off is, yeah, I want to obviously show my work, but I also like to keep my page personal. When people come to my page, I want them to know who is behind this page, who's behind these hair photos, so that if a potential client sees my page, they'll already have an idea of who they're coming to, and they can kind of get a sense of if I'm someone that they would trust and get along with. And I also like to be educational. I like to explain things and break things down. It's not enough to just show, hey, look at my work, look how good I am at doing color, but I like to explain things so that people really know that I know what I'm talking about. So the way that I get content when I'm actually in the salon, whether it's a video tutorial, photos of me when I'm working, the easiest way to do this is have somebody take photos for you if you have someone available. So if it's a regular work day, I'll ask one of my coworkers, if they're not busy, if they mind just taking some photos or some video for me. I feel like we all kind of have a really similar aesthetic. We follow all of the same people on Instagram, so we kind of have an idea of like what type of photos and what angles and everything that we like. When I'm taking photos, I have, where's my phone? I have the iPhone 8 Plus, and I use the portrait mode for majority of the photos that I like to take in the salon of like me, or, you know, different things like that. I just feel like the photo comes out really nice and crisp. I love that like blurred background that it gives. Some days what we actually do is we'll do like content days. Like today's a content day. It's a Sunday, the salon is closed. I'm the only one here, and my friend's gonna be coming in, and I'm gonna do her hair, and we're gonna film a YouTube video and take pictures and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes I'll do that. Like I'll come in on my day off, or I'll stay late after the salon is closed, and I'll have one of my friends come in to be like a model for me, just so I can get content. And then usually what I'll do is I'll ask my boyfriend to come in for me and take photos. He's actually really good about that. Oh, we are.
Wait, start again.
All right, now we're moving on to the front. And really all that I will do is tell him like what kind of shots I want. Like, oh, I want shots like close up of what I'm doing, or I want shots further away of me, like get me and the client in the shot. I'll show him examples like of inspiration photos of like something similar that I'm kind of going for. He'll literally just take my phone and he'll just take like a million pictures. So yeah, if you can get somebody else to help you, and if you can set aside a day or even just like an hour or two when the salon is closed where you can just get content, that is very helpful, because obviously in the middle of a regular work day, it gets really hectic. There's a lot of people running all over the place, and it can be tough. And what I like to do too is I like to make the most out of it. So if we have one content day, I try to get enough photos that I can like have stuff to post for the next like month or two. So I like to get a variety of different shots. Shots of me, shots of what I'm doing, shots of me and my client, me applying their color, me shampooing them, me doing their gloss, me blowing them out, me styling them, like every little process. And honestly, if you have to, like on those content days, bring multiple outfits to change into if you don't want like all of the photos to look like they were taken on the same day. Now, if I don't have anybody around to help me take photos, I will get them myself. So we actually have these little tripods at the salon. They're from Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive, and you can connect your phone to this, and they do have a Bluetooth remote, which I don't have it out here, it's in the back. But it comes with a little Bluetooth remote, and you can just set up your phone wherever you want, and then you can use the remote to take the photos. So I'll just like place it on my station or something like that, and I'll just like snap a few photos or just let it record video. That's another thing you can do too. If you want to get like some action shots of you working, just set your phone up and just have it record video, and then you can go through and just take screenshots of certain parts of that video and just get the still image like that. Now for the hair photos, those final photos of the finished hair, I have a few tips on how you can get some really nice photos. The first step is you want to make sure that you are styling their hair really nicely. Like, you can do an amazing job on their cut or color, but if their hair is not styled nicely and it's frizzy and looking like a mess, it's not going to look good in the photo. So really spend some time making the hair look nice and smooth, really polished and finished. Don't take shitty photos in your chair. I'll take my before photos with them just sitting in my chair. That's not really a big deal because it's supposed to look like crap, right? It's a before picture. But after photos, I see all the time people will literally just take a photo in the chair in the horrible shitty salon lighting, and it's just like, I don't know, like, not only is that boring, it's lazy. Depending on how the lighting in your salon is and what your station looks like and all that stuff, you could do that and make it look nice, but for the most part, I would say have them go over to like a designated area to take photos. Have them stand up so that you can like pose them and move them around. Lighting is key. The best, most flattering lighting for photos is indirect sunlight. So if you can have them stand by a window and use natural light, or even go outside in a little bit more of a shaded area, you don't want them to be like right outside under direct sunlight, because that's just gonna like look way too harsh. And you don't want to be somewhere where it's too dark or where there's a bunch of orange lights, because it's just not going to look true to color. It's not going to look nice. You want a really nice bright looking photo that's going to show the hair for how it truly looks in person. If you don't have any sunlight when you go to take your photos, if it's like nighttime or winter, softbox lights work really well, and I'll show you in a little while our photo studio here and all of like the lights and equipment that we use. A clean background is key as well. You don't have to stand them in front of a solid white wall. There can be stuff in the background, but just make sure that the background looks clean. You don't want it to be super cluttered with a whole bunch of stuff going on. The hair needs to be the main focus. You just don't want like an ugly, distracting background. So I take my photos either outside against the side of the building, which is like a beigey wall, or upstairs in front of a white backdrop. Whichever one you choose to do, just keep it consistent. Ideally, you want people to be scrolling through their feed and see your photo and immediately recognize that it's you without having to look at who posted it. I also highly suggest getting some props and accessories, some hats, some jackets, some hair clips, scrunchies, anything like that. I go on Amazon and I get these huge packs of different kinds of scrunchies and hair clips just to add something a little bit different, something a little bit interesting. We also keep jackets here at the salon, because if say your client comes in and they're wearing like a really bright neon green shirt, or if their shirt has like a really loud print or something, you want the hair to be the main focus. So if they have a really distracting top on, keeping some sort of denim jacket or a leather jacket or something that you can just have them put over their top will help make the photo work with the rest of your Instagram theme. The next tip is to take a lot of photos. The more options you have, the better. Sometimes if you're just rushing and you just take like 3 or 4 pictures, when you go to look at them later, they might not all look that nice. So just having as many options as possible to choose from later on is always the best option. Also, what I like to do is, for every person's hair that I do, I like to get at least like 3 to 5 different looking photos so that I can keep posting that same person's head of hair, but it doesn't just look like I'm reposting the same photo over and over, if that makes sense. So I'll style them differently, I'll use different accessories, put different jackets on them. So like I said earlier, as a hairstylist these days, it's not enough to just be good at doing hair. You have to be more tech savvy. There's more skills that you need to have under your belt. And that brings us to today's sponsor. This portion of the video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. They offer thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. Their classes include a combination of video lessons and a class project. As a member, you get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. So if any of the things that I talk about in this video, you're like, I have no idea how to do that or how to use that, Skillshare has classes on it. They have classes from things like studio lighting, photography, videography, photo and video editing, Instagram marketing, all of that kind of stuff that you need to have the best online portfolio possible. Most classes are 60 minutes long with short lessons that fit any schedule and skill level. So even if you're starting at the absolute basics, you have zero knowledge at all whatsoever about photography, that's totally fine. You'll be able to follow along with no problem. So whenever I take my hair photos at the salon, I've been struggling for the last year or so trying to figure out the best lighting setup, what I like better, if I like taking them on my iPhone or my big DSLR camera. I'm always going back and forth trying to find like the best quality. But I recently took the class iPhone Photography, how to take pro photos on your iPhone, and it was a complete game changer. It taught me how to adjust the settings on my phone so I can get professional quality photos from just my iPhone 8 Plus. The class also teaches you like all of the basics and fundamentals of photography, so it's great, like I said, if you're a beginner. And the class also teaches you how you can edit your photos in Adobe Lightroom, which is the app that I usually use for all my photo editing. And now I just use my iPhone for all of my photos, and it's way more convenient than having to try to like lug around a camera. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month, but if you click the link in my bio, you can get 2 free months of a premium membership. And it's a new year, so why not make 2020 the year you step up your Instagram game and learn some new skills on Skillshare. So this is a little overview of our photo studio room. So we have this clothing rack here where we keep some jackets. Like I said, this is a good idea to do just in case your client is wearing a really bright, crazy print. You want to just throw a jacket over them so that it fits with the rest of your aesthetic a little bit better. Then over here we have this little vanity where we keep some hot tools, a comb, some styling products, and then we also have little accessories, scrunchies, hair clips. And then here is the lighting setup and where we actually take the photos. Like I said, sometimes I will take my photos outside if we have nice weather and there's good daylight. Those photos are always going to come out the best, but at night, in the winter, on a rainy day, we will take them in here. So we have this big backdrop stand with this backdrop fabric. It's just like a white sheet pretty much. And then these are all of the lights that we have. It's not totally necessary to have quite as much lighting as we do. It's kind of been trial and error for us for a while, so we've accumulated a lot of lights over time. So we figure if we have it, may as well use it. So we have that small light as a background light. We have umbrella lights on either side. We have 2 softbox lights, and then we have a little ring light. I would say the best ones to get, and my suggestion would be the softbox lights. Those are what I use to film my sit-down YouTube videos as well. They just give like the softest, most natural, bright kind of light. And all of the equipment from the backdrop to all of these lights, everything is from Amazon. And then down on the ground, I put some masking tape so that when the client comes in, they know exactly where to stand. They just stay right in that box. And then I will just kind of move them around and tilt their head how I want them. So when I'm taking my hair photos, lately I've been using the grid on my iPhone, which I actually learned about in that Skillshare class. And don't be afraid to touch your client, play with their hair, move their head around, give them direction and tell them how you want them to stand, how you want them to pose, if you want them to tilt their head. My kind of go-to shots are I usually like to have them tilt their head down or back. And I just like for their hair to really be the main focus of the shot. I like for their hair to look as full and voluminous as possible. So sometimes I will hold the hair up with my hand, or I'll kind of crouch down and I will take the photo from a lower angle so that it makes their hair look bigger and fuller. And I just move around and just take a whole bunch of different photos and just see what angles and what shots I like best. This is one of those things that you just have to kind of play around with it until you figure out some of your favorite poses. I do suggest blocking out an extra 10 to 15 minutes at the end of each appointment so that you have time to take photos. If you don't have time, maybe ask them to come back on a different day, you know, offer like a free blowout and style for them, or, you know, you can do content days like I mentioned earlier. So now as far as apps in my phone and everything that I use to plan out my posts, edit my posts and my videos, etc. The main one that I use for my photos is Lightroom, and I try to not over edit my photos. I want the hair to look true to how it looks in person. I'm not like throwing filters on it and stuff, but if I need to tweak anything, if I feel like the photo didn't come out bright enough, I like to edit it slightly just so that it matches with the theme of my page and everything just looks really nice and clean. So usually what I'll do is I'll just kind of up the brightness, up the whiteness so that the background looks really nice and white and bright, and I will increase the sharpness so that it looks nice and crisp. I sometimes will use Facetune if, say, there's something in the background, like there's a scuff on the wall or the background just doesn't look super bright. I will use the whitening tool on this to edit that out, or even the patch tool. You can use that to cover over any spots in the background that you don't want. And then for my videos, I use the app InShot. It's super easy to use. You just kind of have to like sit and play with it. They have video on there that is copyright free for you to use, which is nice. And then the last app that I like to use is the Plann app. Now you can get the premium membership and you can actually schedule posts and it will go and post the photos on your page for you. I don't really like feel the need to do that, but I do like to use it so that I can get an idea of how my page is going to lay out. So if I have a few photos that I know I want to post sometime in the future, I'll upload them all to this, and then you can move them around so that you can see like how your page will look depending on where you put everything. So that's a good way to keep a nice aesthetic on your page. Another app that I completely forgot to mention that I use all the time is Phonto. So all of those quotes that you see on my page, I custom make myself using this app. So you can just take a plain background and type whatever text you want, edit the font, do different effects to it. So that's how I do those quotes. And then I also will do watermarks with this app as well. So you can upload photos from your phone and then just add your watermark or whatever text you want onto the image. So as far as my captions and how I come up with ideas for my posts, I try to, like I said, post engaging content, more educational content, give some tips and advice, answer frequently asked questions. And the way that I come up with all of those ideas is just based on interactions that I have with my clients in the salon. If a client asks me a question, I'll think like, oh my God, that could be a really great Instagram post, because I'm sure there's tons of other people that are wondering the same thing. I remember one time I was doing my client's hair and I told her that I was gonna, you know, put toner on it. And she was like, so what does that do exactly? Like, what even is a toner? And I was like, that would be a great post. So I took a photo of her hair before I applied the toner and then a photo of it after the toner, and I did a side by side and I explained what toner is, how it works, what it does, why it's necessary, etc. I don't know, like ideas will just kind of come to me, and I always keep notes in my phone. So when I have an idea for a post, I will jot it down before I forget, and then in my free time, I will actually like write out my captions, usually before I even have the photo in mind. So I don't take photos and then go to upload it to Instagram and then think of my caption. Like I do it backwards. I get the idea, then I do the caption, and then I think, okay, what kind of photo or video do I want to get that would go along with this caption? Another thing too, speaking of captions, just do a Google search for Instagram line break caption generator, and it's literally a caption converter. So if you ever see people's captions where they have their paragraphs spaced out, where they have text that's either bolded or italicized, you can do it through here. So I'll type my caption out in my notes on my phone, or you can even type it out on here, and then I'll just space things out how I want, bold, whatever, and then you just convert and copy to clipboard, and then you paste it in your caption on Instagram. And that's how you can do that. So that is pretty much everything. I will try my best to fill up the description with all of the things that I mentioned, all of the apps, all of the equipment that I use. And again, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Make sure you go check them out. If you like this video and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. You can also feel free to go and follow me over on Instagram. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.